01/01/2021 Friday. One more day or one less day in your life. You decide. The first day of 2021. I hope this year don't fuck us up as 20,000 did. And welcome to today's bar, the podcast where we share stories. And now I will read some stories. I will start this one where I got from Reddit, r/pointless stories. Right, so let's get started. I learned Chinese to appease my mom, who is not Chinese. Okay. When I was in middle school, I went to a weird magnet school that taught a vast variety of languages. I was hype and chose Mandarin, which is one of the most commonly spoken language in China. I studied up until third grade and then moved across the country and ended up stopping my studies as a result. You know, as you can see, I also need some language studies. My mother language is Portuguese and the second language is English. Yes, that's a second language. And it's still that bad. But anyways, let's proceed. I went to college. The major I chose required to study language for 2 semesters. So I picked Mandarin, thinking that it'd be an easy A. That's another thing. Like, why use grades like A, B, C, D, A, F? Why not 1, 2, 3? Like, makes way more sense. It makes more sense, okay? It just works better. I took another class related to China just by chance and found myself almost done with a university accredited certificate in Chinese studies. My mom pushed me to take an extra class and get the certificate, which would make me take language course up to 4th level in advanced Mandarin proficiency. I absolutely hated it, and I did terrible in class up until final week where I managed to ace my final. It was my last semester of undergrad too. I'm now fluent in a language the way a small child born in China would be, like me in English. Actually, I'm probably worse. I have advanced knowledge of the country's political fuckery and I know an insane amount about the history and the many cultures reside in China. I have absolutely nothing to do with this knowledge. I don't even have some kind of fascination with China or anything. My mom just bullied me into finishing the certificate. I have something cool up to put on my grad school applications. Man, that sucks. I mean, it's cool to, know other cultures. Actually, my biggest dream is to travel around the world, to know other cultures. But when you're not hyped to do it, this shit just sucks. I mean, I'm in college 4 years by now, and I also don't see where the hell I'm gonna put all that kind of knowledge. You know? The market is so fucked up. Anyway, it's just hard and I kinda understand it. Not for the same reason, but I kinda understand it. Alright, the next one. 3 years ago, I abandoned my son after my divorce. Shit, this one I get from Reddit r/confessions. Warning, not that alright. Adam and I were married for 8 years and together for 12. We spent half of that time together trying for a baby. I had 9 miscarriages. It was terrible and traumatizing, but I wanted a baby. I wanted to experience pregnancy and labor, and I didn't give one shit about adopting a child. I wanted this. We stopped trying until the spring of 2013 when we went to an anniversary trip. I didn't know it, but I came home pregnant. By July, I found out that was 3 months, nearly four, and, and I was over the moon. Oh, okay, that's a expression. This was it. This was our times, and all the stars were aligning. I spent the next 6 months poking my brain out, thinking whenever someone touched me, and absolutely repulsed by any intimacy from my then husband. But I was still happy, still excited, and still enjoying every moment of having that life inside me, reverently documenting every moment of the journey. My mom made the joke that we would have the best baby ever, since the idea is a bad pregnancy produces angelic baby. Well, I was a wanted baby, so that probably makes sense. And a great pregnancy produces a demon. My mom had a perfect pregnancy. I laughed at it and never thought of it again until I had Lucas in my arms 6 months later. A year later, I was suicidal and happily losing weight. Lucas was a monster. He screamed constantly, but he didn't like to be held. He hated playing peekaboo games and he wasn't reaching his milestone. My mother berated me constantly and blaming his behavior on my inability to breastfeed. My in-laws speculate that I had been drinking, smoking during pregnancy right on my face. During this year, Adam and I took our separate bedrooms to the next level. He moved in the basement. His sister Sam was the only place that I felt that I could talk, and even then I worried she would report back to her brother all my horrible thoughts. We thought about we should stay home because I wanted to go back to work, but living where we did, we either needed a nanny or one of us to be home when the other wasn't able to, well, of course. I spent my days crying and eventually got back to smoking pot in the hopes it would mellow me out. Son offered to help if we moved to her province, but my husband didn't want to move his practice, and I was happy. We were where we where we were. Okay. At the urging of my ex and my doctors, I joined parental groups and drove the hours to nearby city to talk to the parents of autistic kids. All those people did was talk about how rewarding it was to raise their kids, how much easier it was when they ever respected, and how they didn't understand the stigma. One mother raved me about amazing moments her 17 years old spoke for the first time. He said, "Yes, please." Fuck. I was horrified. I felt like a fucking monster. Lucas was approaching 2 now, and he was nearly a toddler, and he acted more like a 6-month-old, and that was being generous. But a woman from my group, Sandra, and I seemed to get on well when she too joined around this time, and she expressed her sorrow for feeling like a failure. We exchanged numbers and got together often, sharing all our stories of finding the kids covered in God knows what, hating us whenever they were touched, and the constant care they required that other kids didn't. Yeah, of course, autistic kid probably is way harder to deal with when you're the parents. Probably, I don't know, don't have kids and needed autistic kids. Adam was happy we were having sex again. I had friends, I stopped losing hair, and everything was good. Some visits, and for a brief moment I felt normal. With a normal family, I felt like maybe I could do this after all, and I just overreacted. And then Lucas' second birthday came around. Just to be clear, the names are all made up. Okay, these are not real names. Sandra brought her son over and her husband. The guys watched the kids while she and I pushed off 3 bottles of wine. Oh, I won't trade Travis for anything, she gushed. It's hard to love him. Shit. Oh, it fuck. It gets easier. I will totally do it all over again. I laughed and drinking off my glass. You're better than me because I'd say fuck that and go about my business. What do you mean? I'd get abortion and I wouldn't want to do this again. Fuck. Well, thank God his son is out is like 2 and can't understand that shit. She was quiet, obvious, and was clearly stuck my foot in my mouth. She and her family left a few hours later after cake and barbecue, and she wouldn't return one of my tests call or for several weeks. Eventually she texted me back to say that she thought I was someone else and would prefer I don't contact her again. I cried for days. I was completely gutted. At my lowest point I screamed, "This is your fault, Lucas," when he was having one of his meltdowns. Fuck. Hey, wait a second. 3 years ago I abandoned my son after my divorce. Is the story title, but okay, let's see where this is going. Adam came running and took Lucas to his room. When he came back, he told me I needed therapy and that we couldn't keep having these problems. I spent the next 6 months at my parents' place on the East Coast without Lucas. Fuck. I was glad to be away, and as the phrase goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's that's right. It's like that's something with language. Like in Portuguese, we have a word for when you miss someone, the feeling of missing someone, which is saudade. In English, there's just no word for that. I mean, there's nostalgia, but it's a completely different thing. Not no. And back to history. Adam and I were on meds and chatting with each other constantly. He didn't offer up information about Lucas unless I asked, which I only did when prompted by my parents. He told me he had a nanny while I was gone and it might be good to keep her there when I come back. I agreed and packed up my bags and go home several months later. Lucas was worse when I came back. He was bigger, he was louder, he would shove his hands into his jeep and smear his shit all over himself and then start screaming because he didn't like it. Fuck. I should be louder about that. When he learned his behavior upset me, he would do it to avoid having me fed him. while, while out in public and any other time he felt like it, he became more violent as he got older, as children often do, and I found myself less and less attached to him. During this, Sam stopped calling and reached out to the nanny get updates on Lucas. I considered the loss of a friendship collateral for my mental health is proving. My ex and I were basically never come home. We hired 2 other nannies to take shifts and we went our days happily pretending that he didn't exist until we inevitably had to go back. Our sex life drifted and we even got back into old habits, role playing strangers and meeting somewhere before going back to a hotel We got lazy, we stopped caring about precaution, and just after Lucas' third birthday, I found out I was pregnant with baby number 2. Adam held me while I cried and drove me to the hospital for the abortion. Fuck. I guess that had been the honeymoon phase because when we came home, things plummeted, and I blamed Lucas for feeling like I had to get an abortion, not wanting to subject another person to this life. She, she's the she's the autistic child of this history. At least, she's acting like one, more than Lucas. I stopped asking the nannies about how he was. One of them made small talk with me one day and started talking about him. I changed the subject, and later that week, when she did it again, I told her I didn't care. She stopped talking about him and happily told me about her and her boyfriend instead. I was thankful to not have to pretend. This continued for several weeks until I eventually confronted Adam head on. I don't want to do this anymore, I told him while we were out with Lucas. I know, he said. Okay, I don't know what you need me to say. I can't fix this. And he said, I didn't expect you to do, and I know you don't want to do this either. Adam didn't say anything and then slowly began to process of separation. I moved out of the house, cut contact with my in-laws and even my own family. I was completely secluded, and I don't know how the topic came up, but while talking about the divorce, some came to visit and take over my role and that of the nannies. I researched a lot during the divorce about custody or obligations and what would happen, since our prenup specified me retaining majority custody of the house, but I went Nathan my lawyer upon hearing about son's attachment, suggesting kinship adoption. I shrugged it off, signed my papers, and left the province, leaving Adam, the house, and the kid. I came back 8 months later, when Adam called and told me he wanted to go through with the kinship adoption of his sister. All rights were signed over and he gave her the house. My life improved substantially since then. I completed my master's degree, got my tubs tied, and took my grandmother's maiden name to remove myself completely. I've never been happier, but I've been reminiscent of Adam since quarantine started. He must have been thinking of me too, because he contacted me on Halloween. I invited him for Christmas. He flew in, quarantined, and he's been staying with me since. Sometimes I feel guilty, but right now, watching his lips and listening to the music playing from his phones, I'm reminded of how happy he makes me. We're better off. I was a terrible mother, and I got out. Of course, names have been changed. There's a edit, I'm gonna write it down. I copied and pasted after writing of several deals. I didn't realize on Java so badly, missing during last minute, blah blah blah. Fuck it. I guess people kinda put too much pressure in what is partnership, mothership, because it's that pressure. It's that important, you know. But that's all probably bad for the kid. And if the kid is a better place, she's a better place, he's a better place, so who am I to judge, right? A guy on internet. I'm a guy on internet to judge. And I judge. Yep, that's what I do. Yep. Yep. Alright, next story I took from Reddit r/stories. I woke to a stranger in my bedroom. Alright, that sounds good. I mean, not good to wake to a stranger in your bedroom, but sounds like a good story. I was just like any other night. It was just like any other night. I went to bed way later than I should have. Might have had a bit of the brew. I settled in and passed out. It was pretty early in the morning when I was suddenly awoke by my dog barking. It wasn't just any kind of bark, no, this bark was alarming, serious. At first I thought I was dreaming, but out of the corner of my eyes I saw a dark spot on my floor. I didn't think much at first because it was still dark inside my room and I couldn't see anyway. My dog continued to bark like crazy and I finally sat up. I realized I was not imagining this dark thing on my floor. No, 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 not at all. A full-grown stranger was laying on the floor next to my bed. Inside, I panicked. Outside, I tried to take calmer demeanor. Okay. I just can't relate. Thank God it's never happened to me. To be honest, if you Google now Brazilian houses, you see that all houses kinda have big walls, so much locks and shit. So it's way harder to get in a house here. But you can't shoot people, so they feel you know, less afraid. Was he armed? Dangerous? What did he want? Why out of my entire house did he choose my room? These were my racing thoughts as I tried to figure out what to do. Finally, I spoke. Hello? Who are you? Get out! He put one finger over his mouth and made a searching noise. I couldn't handle anymore. I had to do something. I ran out of my room faster than the speed of light to my brother's room down the hall. I woke his sleepy ass up screaming there's a man in my room. My brother's friend was also oversleeping on the couch, but he didn't get up right away. My brother quickly got up and went up to my room. There was a lot of yelling. My brother asked what he wanted. Shit, I was told that strange guy was a friend of her brother, his brother, I don't know. But he's just a fucking stranger in your room. He wanted what he wanted and told him he had to leave right this second. The man then stood up, him being about 7 feet tall, twice the size of me, twice the size of my brother. The man said, they told me to come here, and stepped toward my brother. My brother quickly shut the door and demanded the man to leave through the other sliding glass door in my room. I wasn't too scared anymore because, not too scared of a 7 feet stranger in the room when you wake up and found me? Okay, fine. I wasn't too scared anymore because my brother and his friends were ready to throw hands if I need. Okay, makes sense. The man took about 8 minutes to leave my room. He opened the blinds and the door and shut the blinds along with the door. He was very quiet about this and did it multiple times. I believe he had severe OCD and other mental issues. Finally, the intruder had left. Shortly after my brother went to his car, called the cops and tailed him. 6 police cars? Okay, I understand now why you don't have visuals on your house. You can shoot people and suddenly 6 police cars rush down the guy. It's like GTA. 6 police cars rushed down the street to a nearby school where a canine dog tracked him to the ground. The fuck? The police came over to question all of us and investigate how he got in. Since technically the door was unlocked where he entered, it was not considered breaking and entering. It was trespassing. The police told me that he was mentally ill and homeless, and they have dealt with him in the past. I didn't press charges. Instead, I filled a report and he was admitted to a hospital downtown, far away from my house. I think of this often, and now I keep my doors locked and check my room every time I go to bed. A true story that happened to me in 2020. Fuck. That shit about checking his or her room every time before sleep made me remember when I was a kid and I saw on TV that guy who died because of fucking spider on the toilet. And now every single time I go to toilet I have to check if there's a spider, a snake or something. It never had, but who knows. Alright, next stories is a small one. I got it from Reddit r/today I fuck up. Yep, Chifu. Title is Today I fuck up by letting my son out of my sight for 2 minutes. Today I fucked up again. I posted about a month ago because of a certain little one, my son, crawling through my shaved hair on the bathroom floor, tracking it to the bedroom of my wife to see and judge. Now once again, his cunning little guy has proven to his mother that I may not be an amazing father. I was sitting on the living room with my wife and son. My son decided to crawl into the bedroom because I left the door open. I didn't see any issues with that. When my wife got up to get him, I said, "Don't worry about him. There isn't anything he can get into." About a minute later, my wife calls me into a loud room which connects the bedroom through our closets. Apparently, for the 2 minutes unsupervised, my son crawled into no man's land and found the Holy Grail, a bowl of cat food. I personally don't know how it tastes, but I had to fight my fingers through his clamped jaws and 2 razor-sharp teeth to fish out the kibbles, leading me to believe that he found it to be quite delicacy. I told my wife to not worry about our son crawling in the bedroom. 2 minutes later, my wife discovered my son eating cat food in the laundry room. Okay, that's pretty much how kids is. That's remind me of 2 histories of bad parenting where I was the victim. First one, my dad just finished to bath me and go out doing his shit. No, out, like out of the bed in the bathroom doing his shit, and like for losing me out of his sight for like 2 minutes, like this guy, he and my mom would look the entire house for me, and even going upstairs and looking in the street, looking out in the house, and they find me right back in the fucking bathroom, in the bath, like there's no bath but something like that, and in my clothes in the bath. I was like 2, and of course they have to change me all the way again. And the other one is when I was a baby and my dad my dad would sleep while taking care of me and I fall off the bed. That's why I'm the way I am today. Take care of your kids. Alright, next story. I also took for Reddit r/histories. Stories. I deliberately broke my ears, and to this day I suffer from this disease. Okay, I'm just skip this one. Doesn't sound too cool. I don't know why I prepared it. The other one I got from r/Tifu. Today I fuck up. Today I fuck up by crapping in the warehouse. Crapping histories. That's what I say. That's what we're searching for. This happened yesterday, and I'm still recovering from the trauma. After making some poor decisions for launch, nature called, and as luck as would have it, all 5 bathrooms in the main building were occupied. Like 5 bathrooms? How many people lives here? Like, fuck. So I wake up across the lot of a warehouse and drop it through. This bathroom is rarely used and looks like the stereotypical gas station bathroom on a murder film. Buzzing, blinking, fluorescent light, vent sound like a shit motorcycle, toilet paper, precariously balanced off the holder, and stains that make you question them more than you launch decisions. There is also a strip heater on the wall, and it has 2 settings: off and scalding the hairs of your leg. Fuck, I can relate to that. So there I was, reenacting the turbo leg scene from Dumb and Dumber. When uh, random trivia, Dumb and Dumber in Portuguese is Debbie e Lloyd. Just some, forget about that. When I felt something touch my dick, I instantly thought I projectly shot so hard and I splattered myself. Then I felt it move and thought, gross, it dribbling down. Then it felt like a triangle. I grabbed a sheet of the toilet paper and noticed only a few squares left, and glanced down to take care of the things I found. Now on caps look. I found a fucking spider crawling on my dick. Shit, it's the same history I told before. I mean, not the same history, but the guy who died from a spider in the fucking bathroom, on the fucking toilet. This shit is real. Like, check your fucking toilet before you take a shit. Fuck, I'm gonna check twice now. I'm so glad that no one else was over there to hear me scream like a little girl as I frantically slapped at myself, taking glancing balls and the balls in the process, trying to yeet his egg-legged fucker across the stall. In my haste, I managed to lose track of the anxiety-inducing arachnid and told I was safe. I finished my business and decided to lift the seat to see where this fucker came from, and found a sack of babies. Fuck. If you need me, I will be blow torching my crotch and washing the poo off. Shit. Now this will make me check twice when I take a shit. And again, check your fucking toilet before you take a shit. Now for the last story of the day. If my computer helps me, I also took from r/stories, and it is 5 years ago my son was born. 5 years ago I let drugs go. I mean, it's probably not a funny history, not as that guy who found arachnid on his dick, but I thought it would be a cool history to bring here, so here it goes. At the time, my fiancée was pregnant with her first child. I was in a deep downhill spiral with pain medication to deal with my spinal stenosis. Pain meds worked wonder for a while, but if you know anything about pain meds, you know that you slowly start to depend on more. Yeah. My immunity to opioids grew significantly, and it easily went to 4 a day to 8 to 16. Fuck. I went from being prescribed by tiny tramadol tablets all the way to fentanyl patches. My 90 count prescription would be gone in a week. I started buying pills from some shady people doing some shady deals. I bet you all already know what it means. I even tried heroin, cheaper and better. Wow, I'm not sure if I should say that on internet, but I mean, I'm not saying, he's saying, so Uh, but I got caught. Better stick with pills, I thought. This was still the case on the day my son was born. I remember I was running low on my meds and was worried the whole time about having enough medicine during our stay at the hospital. Then I watched my son being born perfect and healthy, greatest day of my life. During recovery with my fiancée, after a few hours, I told her I was going to run to the store quickly for some things we needed. That wasn't the case. I had been setting up a deal to secure some pain meds, so I get the ATM and try to withdraw. Insufficient funds. Shit. He was really in some shit. Trying again, insufficient funds. I got so mad and stormed back out to the car. It was that moment, the moment I sat back down in the car. It was then I realized I had left my newborn son and fiancé at the hospital so I can go buy drugs. Fuck. I mean, it's not like he's doing that drugs for recreational means. Like he was needing it. He just lost himself in the way. How selfish I had been, and how fucked up of a place I let myself go. I'm a father now, and I have a kid that needs me. I told myself then, and there I am, dedicating my life this day forward to my son, and I need to be there for him. Even if he is 3 hours old. I called my dealer and cut off the deal. I drove back to the hospital as fast as I could. I mean, he's instantly got an epiphany. I got back to the room and didn't leave the bed since until we were walking out the doors with our newborn son. If my fiancé can give birth, I can go through withdrawals. So that's what I did. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but for the next 2 weeks I was right by her side and changed ever deeper I could get my hands on. But it was that day, the day my son was born. I look back to that moment and I got back in the car and feeling that I felt leaving my son. From that moment to this day, I haven't had pain medication. I grew up kicked that day. Né? And I'm a better person for it. But most importantly, the only thing in this world I want is to be the best dad I can be. I don't know where I would be without you. Thank you, son. You saved me. I told you that was gonna be a cool history. I mean, again, it's not funny as a guy finding a spider on his dick, but it's definitely a cool history. A wholesome history. Yeah, wholesome. Uh, word that we don't have in Portuguese, so it's kinda strange to use it for me. But that was it for today. I hope you guys also hear or watch the next episodes, and I hope in the next episodes I can learn how to fucking speak English without pause every 2 seconds. That's it. Bye. Hope to see you soon and wish you all a happy 2020. A happy new year. Bye.